Hello everyone, Watch Captain Kyrez here, and today we'll be taking a look at the new Officio Assassinorum rules that were leaked in March's White Dwarf. And starting off, we have some of the special rules and abilities that are common to the Officio Assassinorum units. Execution Force. So long as your Warlord has the Imperium keyword, you can include this unit in your army as part of a Vanguard detachment, even if that detachment contains no HQ units. However, if you do so, that detachment's command benefits are changed to none unless that detachment contains exactly one Vindicare Assassin, one Calidus Assassin, one Eversor Assassin, and one Coluxus Assassin. Then also we have Independent Operative. This model can never have a Warlord trait. During deployment, you can set this model up in concealment instead of placing it on the battlefield. In the next page, we look at that. At the end of the movement phases, this model can reveal its position, set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. Then we have Lightning Reflexes. This model has a 4-up invuln, which most of the characters have. And then we go into points values. All 4 assassins are exactly the same. They're each 85 points, which is pretty nice. It's not overcosted, I don't think, for right now, for what most of them do. Maybe the Coluxus can go up a little bit in points, since he counters Psychic so hard. But we'll see how that runs. And starting off, we have the Coluxus. He has a movement of 7 inches, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 9, save 6 up. But again, they have the 4-up invuln, so they don't really care. A Coluxus Assassin is a single model armed with 1 Animus Speculum and Psych Out grenades. The Animus Speculum is range 18 inches, assault D3, strength 5, minus 4 AP, 1 damage. And its abilities, you change this weapon's type to assault D6 whilst there are any enemy psychers within 18 inches of the bearer. So you do not have to target a psyker to get that extra assault D6 special. They just have to be within 18 inches of you, and you can target whoever else you want. And then you have the Psych Out grenade, 6 inches, grenade D3, strength 2, no AP, 1 damage. Each hit roll of 6 up for an attack made with this weapon inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target instead of normal damage if that target of the attack is a psyker or demon. So a nice counter to that, and I believe the Coluxus can use both of those weapons in the same turn. The following special abilities: it has Execution Force, Independent Operative, and Lightning Reflexes. Then we have Abomination. This model can never be targeted by or affected by psychic powers in any way. Psychers that are within 18 inches of a Coluxus Assassin must subtract 2 from psychic tests and deny the witch test they take, which is really good if you're ever counting 1,000 Suns like I play pretty often. Then we have Ethereum. Attacks that target this model are resolved as if the attacking model had a weapon skill and ballistic skill of 6, which is huge. Not only does he have a 4-up invuln, you can only hit him on 6s. Psychic Assassin. Attacks made by this model can target a character that is a psyker, even if it is not the closest enemy unit. In addition, this model can make an attack with its Psych Out grenade in the same phase that it uses its Animus Speculum. So there you have it. He's also 5 power level, if you ever go off that. Most people do points. Then we have the Vindicare Assassin. Movement 7, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, and a save of 6 up. Again, he has a 4-up invuln. A Vindicare Assassin is a single model armed with 1 Exodus pistol, 1 Exodus rifle, and blind grenades. The Exodus pistol is 12 inches, pistol 1, strength 4, minus 3 AP, D3 damage. And vulnerable saves cannot be taken against attacks made with this weapon. This weapon wounds infantry units on a 2+. Yeah, so he just does headshots with a pistol. Simple. The Exodus rifle is 72 inches, heavy 1, strength 5, -3, D3 damage. Same as the pistol. Invuln saves cannot be taken against attacks made with this weapon, and this weapon wounds infantry units on a 2-up. Blind grenades, 12 inches, grenade D6, no strength, no AP, no damage. Here we go. This weapon does not inflict any damage. Do not make any wound rolls. Instead, if a unit is hit by any blind grenade, subtract 1 from all hit rolls for attacks made by that unit until the end of the turn. So it's just a useful ability he has there. Some special abilities he has: Execution Force, Independent Operative, and Lightning Reflexes. Deadshot. This model can target a character even if it is not the closest enemy unit. In addition, each time an unmodified wound roll of 6 is made for an attack with a ranged weapon by this model, the damage for that attack is D6. Then we have Faultless Aim. If this model remains stationary in its previous movement phase, it always hits on a 2-up when firing a ranged weapon, regardless of modifiers, not including Overwatch. Still needs to hit on 6s doing that. So any psychic shenanigans or chapter-specific rules that give you -1 hit over a certain range don't really count against the Vindicare Assassin. And then we have Headshot. After this model has made an attack with a ranged weapon, roll 1d6 if a model suffered damage from that attack but has not been slain. On a 3-up, that model suffers 1 mortal wound, and if that model is not slain, you can roll 1 more d6. This time, that model suffers 1 mortal wound on a 4-up. Keep rolling 1d6, increasing the result to cause a mortal wound by 1 each time until the model being rolled for is slain or the roll is failed. So essentially, you could just roll for infinity if you're hot. If you just keep rolling a 3, a 4, a 5, and 6 consecutively, it could just almost go on forever, but you'll be really lucky if you ever get past 3 and 4. Then you have Spy Mask. Enemy models do not gain the bonus to their saving throws for being in cover against attacks made with ranged weapons by this model. So there you have it. He's just the assassin, sniper assassin, and he's really good at it. Next we have the Calidus Assassin with a movement of 7, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9, save of 6-up. A Calidus Assassin is a single model armed with 1 neural shredder, 1 phase sword, and poison blades. This is your close combat. I really like the stab kind of assassin. Starting off, we have the neural shredder, range 9 inches, assault 1. The abilities for it: there's no strength, AP, or damage. Roll 3d6 each time this weapon scores a hit. If the roll is equal to or greater than the target unit's highest leadership characteristic, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Then we have a phase sword, strength user, -3 AP, 2 damage, and invuln saves cannot be taken against attacks made by this weapon. So you go, really good at taking out characters. Poison blades, strength user, -1 AP, 1 damage. Each time the bearer fights, it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. This weapon wounds on a 3-up unless it is targeting a vehicle, in which case it wounds on a 6. And then we have Execution Force, Independent Operative, and Lightning Reflexes. That's all the others. We have Polymorphine. During deployment, you can set this model up in disguise instead of setting it up on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, this model can reveal its true form. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than D6 plus 3 inches away from any enemy models. And then it goes into an example. If you roll a 1, you add plus 3 inches to that, and you be set up 4 inches. This is the one model that can only be set up closer than 9 inches than any other deep striking per se unit. And then it also has hit and run. This model can fall back and still shoot and charge in the same turn. Blood Angels. How upset are you over this rule? Oh, the days of Dante. Then we have Reign of Confusion. If you have any models with this ability in your army, then during the first battle round, roll 1d6 each time your opponent spends command points. To use a stratagem, on a 4-up, your opponent must spend 1 extra command point to use that stratagem, or else it has no effect. And then we have the Eversor, the main brawlers. Movement 7, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 6 attacks, 9 leadership, and a save of 6 up. An Officio Assassin is a single model armed with 1 executioner pistol, 1 Neuro Gauntlet, 1 power sword, and melta bombs. Starting off with the executioner pistol, range 12 inches, pistol 4, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. You can reroll wound rolls for attacks made with this weapon that target infantry units. Neuro Gauntlet, +1 strength, -1 AP, 1 damage. You can reroll wound rolls for attacks made with this weapon. Power Sword, standard, -3 AP, 1 damage. Then you have Melta Bombs, range 4 inches, grenade 1, strength 8, -4 d6 damage. You can reroll wound rolls for attacks made with this weapon that target vehicle units. It has execution force, independent operatives, and lightning reflexes. Again, giving them the 4-up invuln that they all have. I don't even know why they bother giving them an armor save. Bio Meltdown, if this model is reduced to 0 wounds, roll a d6 for each enemy unit that is within 6 inches of this model before removing it from the battlefield. On a 4-up, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. If any of you have read the Beast Arises series, when you kill an Eversor, they basically explode in a shower of acid, killing everybody around them. Then we have the Sentinel Array. Each time an enemy unit falls back while it's in 1 inch of this model can immediately make a shooting attack against the enemy unit as if it were its shooting phase. So again, there's that pistol, which is pretty decent. And then you have Frenzon. When making the charge roll for this model, roll 3d6 rather than 2d6. In addition, add 2 to this model's attack characteristic if it charged in the preceding charge phase, bringing it to an ultimate of 8. Especially with the Neuro Gauntlet or Power Sword, you'll be bringing down a lot of models. A lot of cheap models. Killing Rampage. Each time an enemy model is slain as a result of an attack made with a melee weapon by this model can immediately make 1 additional attack against the same unit. These additional attacks cannot themselves generate further attacks. In addition, this model can consolidate up to 6 inches instead of 3 inches. Again, he is the melee brawler. And then we have some of the stratagems. Going in, we have double kill for the Vindicare Assassin. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase. After a Vindicare Assassin from your army shoots, that model can shoot 1 additional time. But it also must be at a different target. Also for the Vindicare Assassin, we have Turbo Penetrator round. This is mainly for whenever you target vehicles. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase after an attack made with an Exodus pistol or Exodus rifle by a Vindicare Assassin from your army scores a hit against a target. And then it gets cut off there. I don't really remember that from memory. I apologize. Then we have a overall Officio Assassinorum stratagem, operative requisition sanctioned. This allows you to get a couple of assassins in there without having to need to take an extra organization slot. The stratagem costs 1 CP if you are playing a match play game, or 3 CP otherwise. You can only use this stratagem if your warlord has the Imperium keyword. Use this stratagem during deployment. Add 1 Officio Assassinorum unit of your choice to your army. Remember that in match play game, you must pay reinforcement points for any new unit added to your army, and you can only use this stratagem once per battle. And then there's another one below that, priority threat neutralized. I assume that's for killing the enemy leader and probably being able to reroll. And then we have an Eversor stratagem. Use the stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Choose one Eversor assassin from your army to fight with, even if that model has already fought this phase. After that model has fought, roll 1d6. On a 1, 2, or 3, it suffers 1 mortal wound. So it gets an attack twice. Then you have another Eversor Hypermetabolism. Use the stratagem at the start of any phase. Choose one Eversor assassin from your army. Until the end of that phase, roll 1d6 each time that model loses a wound. And on a 4-up, that wound is not lost. And then we have Pharaoh's Gaze. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase before choosing a Calyxus assassin to shoot with. Until the end of the phase, the damage characteristic of that model's ranged weapons is increased to D3. It's not bad. And then we have Stem Overload, another Eversor stratagem. Use the stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Choose one Eversor assassin from your army to fight with, even if that model has already fought. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. Read that again. It's hard to get these leaks straight. Double kill again. Then we have Acrobatic Calidus stratagem. Use the stratagem in your movement phase. Choose one Calidus assassin from your army. That model can advance and charge this turn. In addition, until the start of the next battle round, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the chosen model. So basically, she just goes somersaulting, doing backflips all across the table. And then you have Supreme Deception, another Calidus stratagem. Use the stratagem at the start of any battle round. After the first, choose one Calidus assassin from your army. That model's Reign of Confusion ability is considered to be... and it gets cut off. Of course, with leaks, people don't take the proper pictures. And here we go on the second page, being in effect until the end of the battle round. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. Then we have Soul Horror, a Calyxus stratagem for 2 CP. Use this stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Choose one Calyxus assassin from your army. Enemy units within 3 inches of that model cannot be chosen to fight this phase until after all of their units have done so, even if they charge. If one of these units has an ability that allows them to fight first in the phase, they instead fight in this phase as if they do not have that ability. And we have the actual Index Imperialis. It'll give us probably a little bit of brief lore over all the Officio Assassinorum temples and where they come from. And other than that, I believe that's it. So thank you folks for listening and bearing with me. Like it if you liked it. Consider subscribing. Downvote it if you didn't like it. And please tell me why in the comments. Thanks. Have a nice day.